Hey guys, Brian with WorkshopAddict.com, and today we're going to take a look at Ryobi's brand new 18 volt 2.5 inch portable bandsaw, model number P590. This is an interesting tool that we're going to compare a little bit in build quality to the Milwaukee M12. I'm just going to show you some things that I look for inside of a bandsaw when you're using this Ryobi bandsaw. I'm going to show you some things that you might expect to see, some different things you can do with it, and how it performs. So to start off, this unit has specs of a cut speed of 560 surface feet per minute. So in some cases of what I was using, it was a little fast, but in other cases it could have sped up a little bit. There is no speed control on that. This is what it's set to. You have a 32 7/8 inch blade. Pretty easy to pick up these blades anywhere you want. Ryobi says in the box that you can use this for wood, metal, and plastic. Obviously, you can use it for anything. If you're using it for either wood or plastic, make sure you clean everything out if you're using it for metal. If you're using it for metal, again, make sure you clean everything out before you use it on wood and plastic. Being that this is open inside here, you want to make sure for longevity of everything that you do keep it fairly clean and get the metal shavings out, especially if they're around the bearings. Putting the blade in this saw is very easy. You have a simple one-handed tension knob on the back. You have to kind of jimmy the blades in between the ball bearing guides, and then around the two wheels you have a drive wheel and then another wheel here that's just going with what's happening. There's nothing here that's really hard to use on the saw, and it's very similar to every other saw out on the market. But what I want to do is bring you in, show you some differences that I see between it and its build quality, and then we'll talk about how it performs. Okay, when we're looking at build quality between the Ryobi and the Milwaukee, things that we want to look for is flex. What's going to hold these two wheels from coming in, releasing a little bit of tension on this blade, and our cut quality. First, we have a cover on the M12. I like that. It keeps a lot of the things that are on the outside away from these wheels, but you'll still get metal shavings on the inside. You can see the Ryobi is built completely with plastic and then reinforcements in between. There is no metal in here, none. When you look at the Milwaukee, you have a metal piece that goes between them, and it's holding all these wheels in place, and then the same type of plastic around the outside. So I didn't see a ton of flex with this, but at the same point there is zero flex with this Milwaukee, and I like that. The ball bearings down here are about the same. You do have a top guide wheel here in case this one starts to push out, but this blade in here is adjustable for where it's going to run, as is the same on the Milwaukee. Milwaukee uses the same type of system for their blade tensioning. They have a little bit different system for how their depth stop is working. All in all, it's very similar, but one of the other main differences between these two units, and you see this in almost all the Ryobi stuff, is the trigger. Hopefully you can hear it. Hear it break, and that's how it feels. There is a definite click of it on and off, where the Milwaukee is just smooth. Much more smooth. I like the Milwaukee trigger a lot better, obviously, but that's just a quality difference between the two. Other than that, you still have your LED light, and if we just look at the Ryobi alone, there's an onboard tool that sits right in front of this battery. You can use this tool to adjust your runout in the blade, and it will allow you to adjust it so it's running perfectly. You can also use this tool to adjust your stop. Anything here is pretty well set. This is just a little 2.5 millimeter. It's nice to have the tool on board. It's very nice to be able to adjust where the blade is going to run inside this. A lot of great things that they put together here. They just made it a little bit more affordable by using just the plastic here. All right, while you're using this tool, it's very simple to use. There's very few adjustments. So you're just going at it, cutting some steel. You always want to make sure that you're cutting steel where you can try to get the most teeth on the metal or plastic that you can. So make sure that that's right. Use some safety glasses, wear some gloves, either way. But this is a brushed motor, and you can tell that it does not have more than 2 connections on the inside, so using your higher capacity batteries is not going to give you any more power per se, like it would in the other brushless tools. It's very easy on batteries. We're using a 6 amp hour battery on this. It's still pretty balanced with the larger battery on it. I do get some vibration out of that, which I'm going to say is a combination of the blade and a little bit of flex that I'm getting here. The first cut that I made with this, I did get some blade slippage, and I have to assume that was from some oil that was on the blade, but that leads me to this tensioning knob. If I got a little bit of vibration, this knob here was easy to find creeping its way down. Because there's really no tension here, it's only got a spring on it. The spring obviously kicks in at about the 90-degree mark, and then you just push it up in place. There is no real positive detent to hold this up. So it doesn't really get in the way, it doesn't do anything, it's just something you should probably expect. There's a lot of vents right around your front handguard. You're not going to probably get in and use them unless you grab this in a very, very weird way that you shouldn't be. So you will feel a little heat coming out of there if you're doing some longer cuts. It does have a blade lock on it that works. It didn't seem to get in the way. The one thing that works and doesn't work on this is rafter hook, hanging hook, whatever you want to call it. It has a weird kind of flare, and unless you get it hanging on the right piece that kind of holds everything really tight, this likes to kind of move away. I don't use these much. I tried to hang it on the side of my bench. It didn't work well, or at least it wasn't something I was going to sit there very long. I'm not sure why this unit really needed a rafter hook. I know everybody loves them on their circular saws. We use them on circular saws. This, don't see it. It's there if you want it. It could easily be taken off. Realistically, I'm hoping that the price point on this is going to be excellent. It's going to allow people in that Ryobi 18-volt line to get into a bandsaw like this because they are so handy at home. Even if you're just cutting little things for an installation of a ceiling fan to get that height right. There's so many things that you can use this for that you just have no clue, and it's easy, pretty cold cutting, very little dust that's going to move around. It's so easy to clean up after cutting with it. I just had to simply cut up some scrap steel today, so I used it in a variety of parts that would have came off an automobile. Most of them were solid steel and some of them were hollow, but it gave you a good idea as to how this unit is going to actually go through and make some cuts, which it did work very well. Some people are going to use this professionally. Some people are going to use this as a homeowner grade tool. Either way, it's going to work really well if you take care of it. As I said, you want to keep the inside area where you have your pulleys and everything cleaned up so that those will last longer. Some people will say release your tension on the blade if you're going to store it for a very long period of time so you do not get like weird warpage of the metal that's around these pulleys. However you do it, this tool will probably last quite a long time, and if you do have some odd blade movements in here, you can adjust where that blade's going to run. I like the tool. I don't have a price on it at this point. It is made in China, just like this Milwaukee is that I have sitting next to it. Either way, I think it's going to allow the Ryobi users to get into something that's very cool, use it, enjoy it at home. As always, guys, we appreciate your time. Could you give us a like on this video, subscribe to the channel? As always, have a great day.